What about Hawthorn? I watched that. It was a good game of footy. They were the Hawthorn that we've come to respect enormously for 3 quarters, and it all just fell apart. But early on, they were on again against a Giant side that just couldn't move the footy early in this game. Yeah,
and they really did control this game for the first 3 quarters, and their defence is pretty well set there. They were squeezing pressure on every goal, every Giants possession in the back half. And they did press their front half quite well, and they were able to turn the ball over and come back. As you can see here, come forward by Scrimshaw, who is a defender, and then cover there from another defender in Sicily. Yep. And then their mids get back to support, and you get the game going back the other way. So Hawthorn have always rated their ability to go and attack and to be able to connect from these opportunities, and they did that for the first 3 quarters. But the trouble was coming out of 3-quarter time, and for my eyes, they went to sleep. As we can see here, like in the last, like round 10 was when they lost to Port Adelaide by a point. Port Adelaide kicked the last 6 goals of that game from late in the 3rd quarter to the end of the game. So Hawthorn just didn't get the balance right in their offence and defence. And on the weekend, they gave up a 28-point lead, and it's largely around these post-clearance contested balls where the Hawks have been so dominant for that run.
So did they tire, or did they get to 28 points and think we'd done enough?
Well, I thought it was a little bit of an emotional letdown. Out of 3-quarter time, we looked at the centre bounce. Yes, Adam Kingsley and the Giants made some changes. They put Toby Green and Brett Daniels in the middle, and we saw, as the quarter wore on, how significant that was. But at this very point, the first centre bounce out of 3-quarter time, you're 20 points up. They get the centre bounce clearance, which is not a problem. And they actually won centre bounce clearances for the quarter. But the problem was not being able to defend it when it got here. So we're highlighting the Hawthorn midfielders. You've got Nash, who's played the role on Green. And then the Giants keep coming, but there's less pressure on there. Ginnivan not quite as pressured. Daniels has now leaped forward, and Toby Green has leaped all the way forward. So the Giants are saying, we're going to play a couple of midfielders and we're going to hold them forward of the ball, and we're going to try to keep running through you. And the Hawthorn mids were caught on the wrong side of the ball rather than being able to get back and support their back 6.
Yeah, and so when that starts, the first bloke I'm going to is Lachie Whitfield. I mean, everything goes through Lachie Whitfield. And, he had an influence on the game, but again, at the start of this last quarter, he was the one involved with Daniels that was just starting to get it. So get him at this stage, hunt the footy, do what you got to do as a forward. As soon as it gets turned over, you got to go. And you can't just go a little bit, because he keeps going. And keeps going. And this is, I think, in the end, the Daniels move was outstanding.
Yep.
But, I mean, you can't give Lachie Whitfield this amount of room.
No, you can't.
Because the ball's going to end up in his hands more than any player in the comp. They'll turn around and go sideways and backwards and get the footy to Lachie Whitfield. So he had 10 score involvements at the end of the game, 30-odd possessions, and it was one of the great comebacks.
And that was the second goal of the last quarter. And so now you're 16 points up. You've given 2 end-to-end scores, and in the end it ended up, it cost them the game.
4th most ever.
If you're Sam Mitchell and the Hawthorn crew watching that vision, it's a pretty quick fix. Like, you've fallen asleep for 3 or 4 minutes. You've given the side 2 end-to-end transitions.
Yep.
And now they've got their tails up. It's a totally different game than it was when we were at the huddle.
Just quickly, who energised the ball better, Hawthorn or GWS in full flight?
Through the game?
Yeah.
Well,
who's capable of it, though?
Well, the Tsunami, what the Giants have been able to do, in the back half of last year was scintillating, and their forwards run hard forward of the ball to an outnumbered, to an outnumbered forward line, and then they just take their pick. I think Hawthorn are doing something similar, but you've got to give to get. They gave up a little bit of their D to try and keep their offence, and they got singed.
Coleman medal table, this stage, 3 weeks to go, and all of a sudden Jesse Hogan has leapfrogged Charlie Curnow's got an injury. He's got an ankle at the moment. Not sure if he's going to play. Hopefully he does, from a Carlton point of view. So it's down to 2, really. Can't see any of the other 3 who've had fantastic years jumping up. You would never begrudge Charlie winning a 3rd in a row, but there'd be something pretty special if Jesse Hogan was able to continue on in this frame of form. And, came on board as a 17-year-old priority pick for Melbourne, was a prodigy, played some fantastic footy, lost his way. Freo got the Fremantle, couldn't quite, get to the professional levels that it needed, and we know that there were some issues there. And then arrived at GWS, and there was no great expectation. No one thought that he was finally going to fulfil it. I think from what I can gather, he moved in with Shane Mumford, and everything just sort of settled down in his life. And now you're just seeing the sort of footy that everyone knew he was capable of.
He was living out the back of Mummy's place, cooking up the snags, looking after him. So, no, I think, look, remember he burst on the scene. Comparison to Wayne Carey in his first year.
He was an unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I always saw he had really good feet, good balance, and was strong through the core, and he's really shown that. I think when the ball does recover and the ball hits the ground, he's magnificent. But where he's just gone to another level in his marking contest, he's very difficult. But they're never the best defender. It hasn't been in recent times the best defender on him.
I'll have a look at them.
That's an interesting one to watch going forward. But his body use has been terrific, and where he's getting the ball as well, he's been able to draw the ball deeper, and he has a good understanding when to lead and when to draw the ball to the top of the goal square.
Well, the other one, he gets highest point, and his hands are as sticky as anyone in the comp at the moment. Late in the year last year, he was marking as well as anyone. Weddle was beaten in 3 of those, but the thing is, you know better, he leads laterally. He's never sitting targets. Leads laterally, biding his time before he goes to the ball. Okay,
so answer me this. Why isn't these lists Wiedering, May...
McAndrew, maybe?
Or
Harris Andrews.
Harris Andrews. Why aren't these the matchups?
Well, it's interesting, whether you try and get your intercept defender, your best defender, free off him and then come across to help out. That's going to be an interesting watch for the Lions. We get a great case study on Saturday afternoon, don't we? Does Harris Andrews go to him?
Trying to get some, other than your best defender, to Jesse Hogan. If Riccardi's not playing, I think it's pretty simple.
Well, I think Fags watches the show, Gaz, so he might be listening.
I just wanted to show you this. There's a revelation. Put your best defender on Jesse Hogan. I just wanted to show this because it got lost a little bit. This is why Tom Green is an exceptional footballer. Just look how clean he is. This is game on the line. This is not a great move from Weddle. This is half volley, left foot, split second goal, win the game.
Great.
That's how good Tom Green is.
In front of the Tom Green fan club too.
That's clean Tom Green.
Yeah, clean Tom Green.
When you say
he's
clean,
a beauty.
I mean, that clean beneath your knees is a skill that not many people talk about. We talk about their marking and their kicking and their handballing. Well, being clean below your knees is an example of the elite players in the competition. You go back and look at the very best players that have played this game, Simon Black, whoever it is, below their knees, they are clean.
And a ground ball in forward 50 for a half step and then a snap is where the least time and space is in the ground. There's a ground ball in a clearance, but you can get out with your hands. That's
special. He was okay. He wasn't the dominant player, but just the moment was unbelievable.
He's bigger than you too, Tom Green.
He's taller than me.
He's a big unit.
Yes.
And he's about twice as wide as you as well. Big unit.